Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the People's Resource Center live stream. I am Carl Alston, and our topic for today is a new swap program. It's a program that's going on within our food pantries. Our guests today are Kaya Beckett, who is the manager of pantry operations here at PRC, and Christine Burns, who is a SNAP Ed educator with the University of Illinois Extension Office serving DuPage, Kane, and Kendall counties. Hello to you both, ladies.
Hi, Carl.
And
Hello.
thanks for joining me on this live stream today. So, somebody tell me, what is the SWAP program?
So SWAP stands for Supporting Wellness at Pantries. Carl, can you put up the stoplight photo?
I can. Hold a moment. There you
Great.
go.
Thank you. Okay, so it's a stoplight nutrition ranking system. So you see we've got this beautiful kind of poster color that is with the green, the yellow, and the red. So we identify foods within our pantry that meet the criteria of green and have our shelves labeled with green. Those are our choose often. We have our yellow, which is our choose sometimes. Those are labeled as well. And then we have our red category, which is our choose rarely. The joke in the pantry is someone mentioned that's the yummy part of our. So we make jokes about we don't always call it red for us. Sometimes we call it the yummies.
Right.
So SWAP was developed with the USDA guidelines in mind. It focuses on your saturated fat, your sodium, and then also sugars. And it's specifically the added sugars. These are three really important nutrients that can be linked to chronic disease. And so it's important to really be aware of them in all of our diets as we're consuming the different foods. And just be aware that people living with food insecurity, it makes them more vulnerable to chronic disease because they don't always have the access and options for healthier food. So we're hoping that this is something that we can help highlight for them.
Okay, so, as far as, our neighbors who use the food pantry are concerned, they're going to walk into the food pantry. They are going to travel around to the various sections, and they're going to see shelves labeled with the green, orange, and red, or yellow and red.
Yeah,
Is that
so
how it goes?
yep. So the
Yeah.
the foods that are labeled green are the ones that should be chosen often. The foods that are labeled yellow are chosen sometimes, and the red is to choose rarely. So those yummy foods you can still have, but you shouldn't have as much of them as the green and yellow foods.
Okay, so so people will come in and they can see the green section, the yellow section, and the red section. But what is the kind of the purpose of the whole program? You mentioned that it was kind of developed via the USDA guidelines. Which guidelines are those?
Well, so the guidelines kind of give you recommendations, right? So if
Okay,
you're looking into, your dietary guidelines for sodium, it's
there we
recommended that
go.
you only have 2,300 milligrams of sodium with an entire day. It looks at your saturated fat should be less than 10% of your caloric intake for the day. Your sugar intake is also like the added sugars. It also falls within that. So less than 10% of your calories should come from added sugars within your day.
Okay, so in overall, the SWAP program kind of helps neighbors be healthy in their choices, or at least have an opportunity to know, with what they're choosing, kind of what dietary balance they are kind of striking for themselves with each choice, right?
Right.
Absolutely. And I also think it helps too when people are donating to pantries, or if there's a food drive that an organization is hosting to donate food to a pantry, to be aware of some of those foods that they're bringing in to donate that, they do fall into that green or yellow category, to ensure that the neighbors that are being served are also getting those healthy options if they choose to take them.
Right. Okay, that's great. So, yeah, that kind of helps on both sides. It helps for our neighbors who want to be donors to the food pantry, as well as for the neighbors who are making use of the food pantry when they come in. So, I love that. Um, so we kind of have heard a little bit about how SWAP can help our neighbors when they come in. Are we using this thing yet? Is it happening?
It's happening. So
Great.
super excited. We were definitely able to get it up and going. We just our first distribution in our new 211 building in Wheaton was this past Tuesday. And we had everything in place. Our partnership with the University of Illinois Extension's office, with Christine, with Cindy, has been incredible. They developed this amazing volunteer training. And so over the course of a couple of weeks, prior to all this, there was a lot of time spent, just going over how you use the swap system when we're sorting through all the items. Right now, we're taking small steps to continue to introduce it. We have right now we're just using the food that comes in from the food bank, and really looking at that, and it comes in more bulk. So the orders and our government commodities that come in. And so that's how we're labeling our shelves and marking things. And I think it's been successful. We have a dietetic intern who will be offering classes for our neighbors to come that are interested in learning more about the swap system that we have in place. She's also been standing in the waiting room during our pantries to help educate them on what to expect when they walk into the pantries. The Extensions office has provided some really nice posters, which I really like the colors, I think, and just the labeling of the shelvings too is so nice with all the pops of color. I just feel like it's got a really good feel to it when you walk into the pantry, which is nice.
Yeah, really cool. I want to ask a quick question to Christine about the U of I extension program. Kind of what is your sort of overall goal when you're trying to help out pantries around the area?
Well, our tagline is to make the healthy choice the easy choice. So that's kind of what we typically go with both serving our neighbors and also helping staff and volunteers at the organizations that we work with. So the SWAP system is just one more way to reach that goal. Neighbors don't have to be looking and reading a nutrition label in order to determine whether or not this is a healthy option for them. So again, making the healthy choice the easy choice.
Great. That's cool, and that's helpful as well. Speaking of helpful, I think that our neighbors need to know that this one conversation does not mean like the end of anything. When one comes into the food pantry in Wheaton, you're going to see this stoplight image still. It's on a wall. It's clearly visible to people. So not only will you have the shelves marked with, the various colors and, and that, but you'll also be able to see the same sign that you have here on the wall there. So you will have help. Plus, you'll probably get some help from the volunteers in our food pantry too, right?
Right. And so, yeah, people can always ask questions when they come into the pantry, always. I think it's important to understand, too, that with SWAP, we as a food pantry never want people to feel like we're the food police. Just because something is red doesn't mean that you can't take it or shouldn't take it ever,
Right.
So I think just as humans in general, we all connect through food. It's how we show love. We connect with our neighbors, our loved ones. Just it brings us together, and so I think that's really important. It's how we celebrate. So it's finding ways to have, a healthy balance and what that looks like. I think that's so important. But also that opportunity for the families that maybe do have someone in their household that has a chronic disease, that has to pay attention to the specialized diets, for them to just be able to come in and feel like, okay, I understand how the swap is set up and understand how it's ranked. I feel confident and comfortable picking, the greens and some of the yellows and even some of the reds, and just making their way through the pantry in a positive way, that they feel like, they're helping out, within their own household.
Yes, you mentioned that, just like one of the comments that has come in saying it's a great visual and serves as a good reminder for people as they come in. I think this information is awesome to have there for people. So thank you both for making this available. So now, is there anything else that people need to know, that we need to know as people who are going to donate to the food pantry, or neighbors who are coming and using the food pantry? Anything else?
No, I mean, for donors, it's looking at helping us by looking at labels, and choosing the low sodium options. That often helps us. Looking at the added sugars, those are all things that we're looking at when we're categorizing. And so oftentimes, soup is a great example. A low sodium soup, usually ends up, depending on, in the green category, which helps, and it makes it simpler. If we like to have the green kind of displayed too, right at eye level, so you're looking straight at it when you walk in. So I feel like, and every bit helps. We've got some low sodium tuna right now, and that's green, and I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have options. It doesn't mean that they can't have the other tuna that's also there, but it makes things for people, again, for what they're experiencing in their homes, and having the access to what's going to work best for their families, I think is really important.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Kaya. Thank you so much, Christine, for joining us on this live stream today. Really appreciate you. If you are a person who uses the food pantry, we look forward to having you come in and seeing this new system available to you. Choose your green, choose your yellow, choose your red wisely. And to learn more about the programs at People's Resource Center, like a food pantry, like computer access and training, like emergency rent and mortgage assistance, like financial assistance and social services, adult learning and literacy art programs, and our clothes closet, all you have to do is visit peoplesrc.org. That's our website, peoplesrc.org. Thank you again, ladies, very much. And I am Carl Alston. We will see you next time.